Comes company. No strings, good times, room hums company.
Bobby, there's a concert on Tuesday.
Hank and Mary get into town.
How about some scramble on Sunday? Bobby, what you doing Thursday? Time we got together is Wednesday, alright. Bobby, on Bobby Day. Bobby, come on over for dinner. We'll be so glad to see you. Bobby, come on over for dinner. Just be the three of us, only the three of us.
You I love and you I love and you and you I love and you I love and you I love and you and you I
Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And with we're in Sondheim. We're in Sondheim land. With certain shows that are the key ones or our favourite ones or blah, 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 or have huge histories, we're going to spend more time. Mostly Follies will be getting 2 episodes, Into the Woods will be getting 2 episodes. However, there are 2 shows that are receiving 3. And that is for different reasons, sort of the same format, but Sweeney, Todd and Company. This is our second Company episode. Last episode, we focused on Company as a musical itself, the book, the songs and the like. However, Company has had such a storied history of productions through the years, including most recently an entirely gender-bent production that's currently on Broadway, sweeping critical and commercial acclaim. It ran in 2018 in London. I watched it twice. So that's a big one, less so when we talk about Sweeney and we're just going to talk about our favourites and all that sort of thing. But we also watched a couple of other Company productions that have been critically acclaimed through the years. So just a whole episode about Company productions. And then at the end of it, we will be choosing our top 5 Company songs. We have one more Company episode, that'll be next week, but that's its own sort of mini episode, just sensational, but we'll get to that next episode. For now, let's look at Company through the years. Now, we've chosen a couple of specific productions that we're going to be talking about more than others, but let's start with the West End production. So it ran for 6 months with Larry Kurt and Elaine Stritch flying over. Then eventually British replacements took over. It ran and ultimately lost 75% of its investment. However, Craig Zidane, in his book Sondheim and Co., a very good book, talked about how the producers adamantly were happy because they'd never seen anything like it. They were a pleasure to be involved with it. And I think you get that a lot. I think you kind of get it a little bit with auteur filmmakers nowadays. Because, like, unfortunately, much to my own chagrin, a Paul Thomas Anderson movie isn't going to make a tremendous amount of money. But I think you still get producers. It's like Silence, like Scorsese's Silence, an excellent film, but not many people are going to rush out to watch a 3-hour religious epic set in rural Asia with contemplations of God and an atheist Liam Neeson. But that movie will still get made because Scorsese's name means so much, and I think people were just overwhelmed to be part of. Well, I've got another book in front of me right here by McLaughlin, and it's called Stephen Sondheim and the Reinvention of the American Musical. I don't think it can be underestimated how much Company sort of blew everybody's socks off and was so new and fresh and original and exciting. Yeah, there's not really much to say there with the West End. That's where Elaine met her husband, John Bay, and yeah. No, anyway, so that's that. There's no time or date for this. It just sort of got mentioned in a couple of the interviews I heard, but sometimes shut down a production which was going to end with Bobby shooting himself.
Oh,
It's a bit much, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think Sondheim would have liked that.
No, he didn't. He shut it down. But I don't know how that would work. Would he shoot himself before? If he shoots himself after being
seeing
alive,
being alive,
yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Unless he shoots himself in the beginning, and this is all a frantic. No, I don't like any of this. At all. Will.
Bang.
Well, have you ever seen a production of Company?
I haven't.
That's the end of the conversation, really.
I mean, yeah. Oh, is that one of the? I mean, of course, I've seen. Not. Oh, you mean in person?
Yes, you've seen all of the ones that we've watched for this.
Yeah,
and all that sort of.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it. We flirted a lot with our university musical theatre society. Got very close to putting that on in the last few years. I think it'd be great because we do a large cast musical and a small cast of about 15 max.
So this is perfect.
And it would be a perfect one for that. Yeah.
Do you think it would sort of land on deaf ears with a load of 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds?
No.
I don't know. I mean, obviously people can act, but wouldn't it? I think it'd feel like dress up. I think you need adults in these roles, obviously. And I don't know. I feel like hearing, people sing, Sorry Grateful and all that sort of thing. I can just see some teeny bopper kid with his braces on. You're always sorry. You're always grateful. Like, oh, okay. I mean, obviously people have known love and all that sort of thing. I don't know. I'd watch it. I'd come up and watch it, unless I'm busy. And who would you be? This was just you campaigning to be Bobby, wasn't it?
Yes, I would be Bobby. I would.
Yeah. But would you be Bobby?
Yeah.
Who else would you be? Were you going to do what era is this? Was somebody campaigning to do the female version?
The rights aren't available for that.
So very good.
The OG Sondheim.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, 1993 reunion concerts. So most members of the original Broadway cast reunited in California for a concert to benefit the AIDS Fund. And Angela Lansbury, your favourite, served as host. And with narration by George Hearn. The reunion concert was repeated for 2 New York performances with Patti LuPone as a host. The excitement of the reunion concerts resonated even in comparison to later full-scale revivals. Do you think in our lifetime we're going to get, what would be the huge reunion concert for us? I don't know. What would be? I mean, we've kind of seen it with like the end of those big 25th anniversary Phantom productions and the Miss Saigon productions, like they bring Jonathan Pryce and they bring Sarah Brightman and all that sort of thing. But I don't know.
It'll be Lynn.
Yeah, we're not really Hamilton people, are we?
I'm not a Lin-Manuel Miranda person.
Yeah, Piragua. Yes, I'm not. I went and watched Hamilton last week.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
And
give us your review.
I can't hear it.
What?
I cannot make out what they are saying. Literally, unless I think this is a genuine criticism. I know I sound like an old man, but when they are rapping, unless you have listened to that album compulsively over and over again and know every single word, I had no idea what they were saying. And I do think that's a problem
because it's an American thing though, isn't it? In that show, because it's so close to the roots of what they've been brought up with, like founding fathers and all that. I guess it makes more sense.
And also I think it's got serious narrative problems. They don't set up the duel at all. Well, no, they obviously do. The whole show is about Burr versus Hamilton. And so there's definitely the motivations
1, 2, 3,
there.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10 commandments.
I liked the conceit of a dueling of a rap battle Senate meeting. But I don't know, that also felt just a little cringy.
Yeah. I mean, you and I both know if we were ever involved in Hamilton, we'd both be playing King George.
King George, yes.
Yeah.
Which is a fine song, apart from the annoying Hey Jude, how does it end?
Oh no.
La da 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 da. Yeah, that's very annoying. Yeah, very, very annoying. He doesn't even get a bow. He leaves after his song. Which is fair enough. Get home early. No. Many things were good, but also it was like, oh, and also we were sat with some fucking annoying people who kept rapping.
People say it's a spectacle show. A lot of people.
No, there's no spectacle. There's no spectacle.
All the sets are made. It's not. It's boring.
It's not boring. It works very well.
It's well utilized.
I wouldn't say it's a spectacle. After watching Moulin Rouge and Frozen,
I want to see Moulin Rouge.
Yes, Moulin Rouge is very fun. You have to be with people where you can laugh.
And you have to have a few drinks.
You have to have lots of drinks, and also you need to be with people who you can laugh at when they suddenly burst into completely random. Like, it's outrageous the amount of songs.
Shit like that.
It's like literally, there's a moment where I want to make you love me like I'm a hot ride. And they just go into the most outrageous. The best way I can describe it is, and then we'll move back to a good show company. But the best way I can describe it is, in Moulin Rouge, how one of the songs is Elephant Love Medley. And that's just one song. Every single song in Moulin Rouge, the musical, is 3 different songs. And I know that like in the middle of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, she goes, because we are living in a material world and I am a material girl. Nicole Kidman, incredible. But every single song has 5 different songs. It's outrageous. Will, I'm going to read you one. This is completely random. This is a true mashup that's in Moulin Rouge, the musical, London. No, I want Wikipedia.com. Are you a Moulin Rouge fan? The film, Will?
I rage. Oh, I love it. I adore Moulin Rouge.
And also, they kind of butcher El Tango de Roxanne. You go in thinking that's going to be the most incredible because it's incredible in the film, but they keep putting in "Put on the Red Light," which obviously they cut from. I was reading this the other day because I was making fun of it to people.
Is Like a Virgin.
No.
What?
I know. Where? Oh, this is. Oh, I had it the other day. They must have gotten rid. Oh no! We're here. Okay, these are real medleys. Okay. Right. Here's a random one. Shut up and raise your glass. Into shut up and dance. Into raise your. Oh no, sorry. Shut up and dance.
Shut up and dance with me.
Yeah. Into raise your glass.
I'll raise your glass.
Into I want to dance with somebody. Big problem. Every song in Moulin Rouge 2001, the film, had already aged well by 20 years.
Yeah.
None of these songs are going to last 20 years. Here's another one. Bad Romance, Into Tainted Love, Into Seven Nation Army, Into Toxic, Into Sweet Dreams Are Made of You. That is one opening number. It's outrageous. And here's the mega mix. Lady Marmalade, Hey Ya, Minnie the Moocher, Bad Romance, What's Love Got to Do with It? Don't You Want Me? Into the Gallop Internal. It is absolutely outrageous. Anyway, that's enough about Moulin Rouge. But also, go see it. 1995 Broadway revival. This was directed by Scott Ellis at the Roundabout Theatre and choreographed by Rob Marshall, who did the choreography for the Sam Mendes cabaret production, and then of course went on to be acclaimed, a director himself, directing the films of Chicago, Mary Poppins Returns, and Into the Woods. And he had such promise with Chicago. I think people sleep on nowadays how good Chicago the film is.
Oh, Chicago is still to this day. I mean, I've not seen West Side Story yet. I would say it's still the best movie musical adaptation.
What about West Side Story?
Oh, what about West Side Story?
Original West Side Story.
Yeah, original West Side Story.
And Sweeney.
And Sweeney.
And Little Shop of Horrors.
And Little Shop of Horrors. And The Sound of Music.
And the Sound of Music. And what else?
The Sound of Music
Rocky Horror.
Oh, Rocky. Oh, yeah.
I think you need to take back this comment. I agree, it's
I'll take
very
that
good.
back. It's
And
very
also,
good.
you need to watch
Right,
Evita.
of the 21st century.
Yeah.
La La Land doesn't count. It's
Neither does Dear Evan Hansen. Have you ever walked around a road and felt like you could fall down and try to get back up?
Don't like Dear Evan Hansen.
I don't either. Have you ever sat around and fallen off a tree and tried so sad, you're just so sad? Have you ever walked around and really felt like you were bad? That's my impression of every single song in Dear Evan Hansen, apart from the creepy one that you did. So this production had Boyd Gaines as Bobby, who you'll know from when we did Gypsy with and Patti LuPone was thing. Deborah Monk played Joanne, and you'll know Deborah Monk well from being the secretary in Devil's Advocate. Then there was the Kennedy Center production. So this has John Barrowman as Robert, as Bobby, and Lynn Redgrave as Joanne, presumably. The wonderful Lynn Redgrave. Again, another critically acclaimed production. So this used the book from the original Broadway production instead of the 1995 revision. And it was directed by Sean Matthias, who directed the Pinter you saw with McKellen and Stewart. What's it called? It's not called One for the Road. It's called No Man's Land. And you didn't like it at all, did you?
I went to see.
You did, that's what I just said.
I sat there the entire time just waiting to meet Sir Ian.
What is this princess shit? I'll have a little champagne. I'll have a little brandy. Pretty good, pretty good.
So it's all right, it's all right.
It's all right. So we're going to talk specifically about 3 productions today and spend a lot of time there. The I would say the 3 most pivotal productions we've had, revivals we've had. So let's start chronologically. 1996, The Donmar Warehouse. This is Sam Mendes. So Sam Mendes, of course, was the wunderkind of 90s theatre. He's still, of course, very popular today. However, he's, of course, been directing movies for a very long time, including one of your favourite movies ever, American Beauty.
I've been reading a lot of articles at the minute saying these are the top 10 worst Best Picture winners.
That's
Everyone
untrue. People hate American Beauty. No, people hate American Beauty now.
Yeah. Is it because of its themes mixed with the fact that it's Kevin Spacey?
I think it's a hard watch to watch a movie where Kevin Spacey is playing a pedophile. I've said this before. I can watch LA Confidential pretty easily.
Oh, I love LA Confidential.
LA Confidential, excellent film. On the QT and very hush hush.
I also, you know what other film that's like LA Confidential that I also very much like? Even perhaps prefer. I like The Nice Guys.
I enjoy The Nice Guys a lot. I don't know if I prefer it, but I do like The Nice Guys a lot. LA Confidential is one of those movies where the first half an hour is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I do think it stays very good, but does lose a little bit of its luster. And also, is tremendously confusing.
It lacks luster. It lacks.
I don't know. What's that from? Is that from the show you're in? Oh my God!
I'm in a show at them, guys.
You need to stop quoting a show that I haven't seen yet.
You will see it.
I will see it. Will, yes. And then the next day I'll be watching Alan Partridge. Similarly,
I'm very glad you're watching me first.
So let's talk about so Sam Mendes is the wunderkind of 90s theatre with the Donmar Warehouse. He had a storied history with Sondheim. He staged Assassins. I can't remember whether it was before this or after this. He also, of course, staged the fully revitalized, fully sexual Cabaret that is, of course, the production that everybody thinks of nowadays, whereas the original Cabaret was revolutionary, but was a lot more
nice.
A lot more standard. Yeah, a lot more standard. Whereas this was sexy and it was Alan Cumming and it was a welcome and everybody was fucking on stage and nobody shaved and all that sort of thing. And
It's but it's done well, hasn't it? Olivier's again. So
Yeah, well, Cabaret is one of those shows. If you put two good people in it, you're solid.
Yep.
And that's that. So let's talk about Company 1996. So very British, don't you think?
yes, very British.
Very, very, very British. I think that there are some
I
things,
almost wanted them not to have American accents.
it feels weird. For every time they try to, oh, we're making Company modern, we're revitalizing it. It's like, but also, why not just put it in London?
Yeah, they've never done that before.
There is no difference between the metropolitan New York and the metropolitan London. I mean, obviously there are differences. I'm not stupid, but why isn't this? Why do we have to suffer through these terrible, largely terrible American accents?
I love Adrian Lester.
I do too.
It's when someone I'm the same. When a British person puts an American accent, and then they're the person that all of a sudden their voice goes very high. Like I'm speaking now. Hello, I'm American, and my voice is suddenly really high.
I noticed this. This is weird. Well, at my college, ex-college, blah blah blah, Rose Bruford. Anyway, so I watched a show the other day. Excellent show. Everyone was excellent in it, but they were all doing these Southern American accents, and they were all very good. Actually, they were all very good, but they were singing from time to time. And I tell you what, it was Beth. It was Beth.
I do know. I love Beth.
Love Beth. She was doing a Southern accent, and it was very close to what she was doing in Footloose. And like, obviously, she was doing a lot better work here. But I did say to her after, you did kind of just use your Footloose voice, didn't you? But she was excellent. She was very, very good. But Beth's an excellent singer. But she's doing this like, and it's that thing of speaking in American, and then suddenly, like, she'll be going, "Oh, outrageous, mama! Oh, I'm gonna clean this table." She's the maid. And then she'd go singing, and she'd be like, "I'm a poor wayfaring strange," and it was like just immediately into the most beautiful singing book because she's incredible. And it was like, this is bizarre. And you kind of have this with this, like, right. Here's my biggest thing.
You don't have it, however.
With the Company 2006. Oh, sorry, with the Jonathan what?
With Sophie Thompson.
Let's not talk about Sophie Thompson.
Let's not talk about
Jesus
Sophie
Christ.
Thompson in this.
At all. Right. Here's my big take. Time after time, people like to quote Sondheim, and they like to say, well, Sondheim doesn't like singers in his roles.
Yeah.
He much prefers actors who can sing. This is the problem when you cast actors that can sing, because some of these people are very good. Like Adrian Lester can hit mid-range notes beautifully.
He can. I'll go back again to Adrian Lester. I love Adrian Lester, but he's very much giving a Shakespearean performance, and it being alive.
Oh, some of the yeah.
Alive.
Yeah, and then no, the third one could stay the same. Being alive, which is probably how I'd have to perform it. But anyway, this is the thing. I don't know where to start. I think for the most part, this is a good production, but has some absolutely terrible, bizarre choices in its performance, but entirely performance-wise.
Yes. I
think Adrian Lester, he won his Olivier. I think you would watch this in 1996 and go, oh yeah, they've done Company right. It's more realistic. It's funnier. He's a cokehead. It's more dramatic. But I don't think it's anywhere near as dramatic or as funny as the 2011 NYC production we watched. You know what's a big thing? Speed. So the Company we watched has no interval and runs at 2.5 hours. That's the length of the video. This has a 10-minute Sondheim interview, and is 2 hours 10. That means it runs an entire half an hour shorter. And you can tell there is such a speed. None of the jokes breathe. Now, I understand that there's a clear choice here. They've made him a cokehead. I have no problem with that. You know, people do coke, sure. Yeah. And he's a lonely cokehead drunk. It's an interesting choice, and it works. And I think that side by side is incredible. Absolutely astounding.
With him staggering at the bottom, and they're all looking down. I thought that was wonderfully.
I think that's
Yeah.
the shining thing of this production.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting choice to have him be a cokehead. However, that's the choice for Side by Side. Whereas I think he needs to be doing a couple of lines at the start of the show as well, because the whole first act is at such a clip and at such a pace. I think you need to be doing him doing coke the entire time. And then Side by Side is fueled by him having the beer as well, and he's like blitzing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this as it goes. So this opens with the new, well, they're not new phone calls. They're in most productions, but like the phone call messages, and they're very funny. And like Amy ruining the surprise birthday party, and this is a dirty phone call from Joanne. Rebecca Front's in this, and Clive Rowe's in this. We love Rebecca Front, of course. Twiddly-dick-diddy, two ladies. Twiddly-dick-diddy. But this is the thing. We know that Rebecca Front can sing.
Mm.
And she gets the non-singing role. Well, no, she sings, obviously. But we know, I'm nothing special. In fact, I'm a bit of a bore. You're not boring. Rebecca Front's a really good singer.
So I say thank you for the music.
Did you ever watch ITV's A Night of Musicals or whatever, where they do the celebrities and Alan Titchmarsh sang?
Hosted by
No, not hosted by Jason Manford. I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about where like 10 celebrities each do a song.
Oh no.
Anyway, Rebecca Front did Tell Me on a Sunday, and she was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, wonderful.
Take me to a zoo that's got chimpanzees. Tell me on a Sunday, please. Hilarious lyric. Who are the standouts in this for being bad? Because I do think, I wonder if we'll have the same opinion. Sophie Thompson is outrageously terrible in this. Okay, well, then we're in agreement. So some of the worst accents ever, the cokehead angle, I think is good. You know what I also think is good? That they make the all in his head thing rather clear. And I think it's a good choice for this production. I think it's very well directed. Well, no, I don't think it's very well directed, because I think many of the scenes are absolutely atrociously delivered and so speedy and quick, and Jesus Christ, breathe. Like they don't let any of the jokes land. They don't let any, it's all at such a fucking speed, which again would work if he was doing coke at the beginning, but we don't know he does coke until the beginning of Act 2. So, and again, all in his head, it works. The karate scene, again, so quick and so speedy. Everybody seems to be on coke. That's another problem. In the scenes, Bobby isn't really acting like a coke. I mean, stereotypically like a cokehead. Like he's not, quicker than everybody else. Everybody is quick, and if anything, he's slow and he's sitting back. I think there's a weird. Adrian Lester plays it quite weird. Like he's looking on at everything, bored and ominously. Like it's not. I think Neil Patrick Harris' performance is just a sensational rope balance, and even Raul Esparza, he's a little bit weird, but just sensationally ominous, and in the background it's weird and not frightening, obviously, but yeah.
How do you stand out for me? It was Duke from Tracy Beaker.
Clive Rowe, yeah. You were just Googling, yeah. He was good, yeah. I think this was the first Black Bobby. I think that was quite a big deal at the time as well. Yeah, I don't know what to say there. Revolutionary casting and all that sort of thing. But he was also the first in the 90s. It's the 90s, baby. No, because he was Anthony in an acclaimed National Theatre production of Sweeney Todd.
Oh.
No, in Sweeney Todd a few years before, with Julia Mackenzie, I believe, as Mrs. Lover, Miss Marple herself. Who's your Miss Marple, Will?
That's a loaded question.
Okay.
Because I only know one person who's played Miss Marple.
Julia Mackenzie.
Angela Lansbury.
Oh, I didn't even know you'd seen The Miracle Act. Have you seen The Miracle Act?
I have.
What did you think?
Bad.
Quite boring, quite badly done. I do like the opening where the projection breaks and in the cinema, and she's like, "Oh, well, tell us what happened, Miss Marple. It's like, oh, it's obvious, isn't it? I think that's a very funny scene. But the rest. And then little things we do together. Again, a very interesting choice. Joanne is completely blitzed drunk the entire time.
I think Sheila Gish is phenomenal.
She's great.
She
She's
was
very,
stand out
very
for
good.
me in this. She was the
Yes.
best.
Again, it's what we were talking about with Joanne. It's like, cast any good actress and you're in for, I mean, it's a perfect role. And I just love how slurred her first line of little things you do together is. It's a little thing you do together, do together, that make. And then she sort of catches herself. But she like launches into it so slurred and you go, oh, okay, this is what we're doing here. She is drunk the entire time. Again, very fun choice. And works. I love the tango in couples when the couples come in at the end of little things they do together. Really, really good. And all the scenes have such a speed and all the dramatic moments are trampled upon. I've just written that again. I can't get over this point. You could drive a person crazy. Absolutely shrill and annoying. I think people have had this problem for years. They think that the girlfriends are underwritten and are just annoying, shrill women. Why would you play that up? Why would you make that choice? I mean, I'm sure in the direction they're going to say, well, it's all in Bobby's head. This is how he sees them. I don't think that's a fun choice to make them actually shrill and annoying. Because I don't think they are on the page shrill and annoying. Again, as we saw with the New York City Philharmonic production, even with April, any criticism of April, I'll just point you to the line where she says, I'm quite dumb, which again, you could look at as male fantasy. Oh, she's this big-breasted, dumb bimbo, and she knows how dumb she is. So, I'm so dumb, I'll do anything. But again, I've never seen it. I think it's in the performance, and I think it's a weird choice to have them lean in. However, incredible choreography.
Yeah, choreography. It was very reminiscent of sort of the what they call Little Shop, that sort of.
Yeah, doo-doo, ba-doo, ba-doos. The Ronette, Crystal, and because it's three girl groups.
Yeah.
Ronette, Crystal, and
Dream
Supreme. The black and white outfits are an interesting choice. The choreography is excellent, but they're all out of breath, and so they can't sing the song. It's very annoying. Larry, okay, have I got a go for you? Love the choice of the spinning chair, but Jesus Christ, does Larry go for it when he comes in? Have I got to go for you? Wait till you meet her. And I've just put here, this is the backfiring of hiring actors rather than singers. And right, here we go. Getting Married Today with Sophie Thompson.
Here we go.
She is awful. She is completely out of breath, can't finish the phrases, breathes halfway through each phrase.
She has to, I've got nothing wrong with speaking a few lines, but she screams them.
She is literally, right, again, we're going to talk about this next episode with the company doc, but there's a bit where Elaine Stritch gets annoyed at herself and she just goes, I'm just screaming. And that is all I could think of here. And she is screaming the lines. It's horrible. It's not funny. I am amazed she got applause. And then at the end of each phrase where she does the, because I'm not getting married today, she does this weird Edith Piaf opera singer impression where she goes, I'm not getting married today.
And it's like her breath control is terrible. It's like she, so you lose the first phrase of each line.
And also she does this huge, big, dramatic, I don't know whether it was a direction choice, an actor's choice, or even perhaps a musical director's choice to give her enough breath. But she does each time, which I don't mind, this whole thing of, listen, everybody, I'm afraid you didn't hear me. And which I think is a good directional choice, but also, is she not actually taking any breath? Is it all performative? Can she not use that to actually give her some breath? I think
I want to know if when she started mopping herself with sweat. If that was intentional.
I think it's absolutely appalling and one of the worst renditions I have ever seen in my entire life. Then Marry Me a Little. This is, for me, this is Adrian's worst performance song-wise.
Yeah.
The high notes, I'm ready, wait for me. And again, he does a bit of screaming.
Yeah, or straining, I would say. He's clearly a baritone. Well, I mean, Bobby is a high baritone, I guess.
Yeah.
But
it's one of those things where you watch Raul Esparza and you go, Jesus Christ, this is
Raul Esparza is my favorite Bobby,
without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
I think in the actings, in the scenes, I'd probably go Harris.
Yeah, no, he's very good, very good.
I think when it comes to literally the performances of the three songs, but then again, Adrian Lister's acting in Being Alive is brilliant.
Oh, it's great. He's tearing up. It's wonderful.
It's sensationally good.
He won the Olivier for this, didn't he?
He won the Olivier for this, yeah. And I can understand why. You watch this and you go, wow.
Yeah.
You watch the second act and you go, wow. But you're not gonna. Yeah, I'm sorry, Adrian, but it's not perfect throughout. Sam Mendes interview with Sondheim at the middle of the intermission. I like collaboration because it's a form of substitute family. That's Sondheim. It's very rare that musicals are done in a different way. This is the big thing. It is very clear that Sondheim, even if it doesn't work, Sondheim would much prefer a revival that is something different and exciting than the sort of people call Phantom of the Opera now a museum piece.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he felt about the NYC.
I'd love to see Phantom done differently.
Did you watch it when it toured England for the 25th anniversary and it went to Leeds Grand? That was a different staging. And it was good, but then there were times of like, oh no, just. I personally, I'm on the complete opposite side. I want Phantom to stay exactly as it is forever.
Never seen it.
Watch, like if you watch in London, you are never going to have that opinion again. Or if you want to see Phantom done differently, sorry, buddy, I'll take you one time, but you are never going to have that opinion. The minute you see it, you are never going to have that opinion again. Side by Side, again, actually does a line of coke. Very funny. Parallel lines who meet. Very funny. The dancing is fun and is something I do. I'm obviously alone a lot, and
it's a weird combination. It's like if Gene Kelly did coke. It's
if Gene Kelly was
low down, wobbly, but still with quite a bit of finesse. I don't know how he does it. It's
very good. It's just very, very good.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy see all the crazy merry day now. Again, it's one of those performance choices. I enjoy that Joanne and Larry don't do the dance and then come in. But I'd make that more of a choice. I'd have Sheila Gish on the outskirts, like smoking and doing some of the moves. Maybe that'd be distracting.
I think the choreography is great though. The bit
it's absolutely sensational.
He always becomes it because it's so good at showing that he's just off his face. Right, with all of that, he almost looks like a pigeon going around the stage, like. And then the bit where it goes black and white, I like that. Well, not black and white, the silhouetted bit with the lights. I love lighting. I might become
controversial opinion. Well, I love lighting. No, poor baby. So I talked about this in the 2011 production. I asked it as a question: are the wives all horny for Bobby? That is the choice here, and I'd forgotten that. In that, literally, all the wives when they're doing "Poor baby, all alone, sitting by the telephone," and they're just like they are horny for Bobby, and it adds that dynamic to the scenes of it's that it's that friend that you don't want to really leave your wife around with. Oh yeah, Bobby's really attractive. Yeah. All the husbands probably have that opinion of like, oh yeah, no, Bobby's great. Yeah, no, Bobby's wonderful. Ladies Who Lunch. Oh, sorry. Do you want to talk about Barcelona? I didn't really have any notes for Barcelona.
Not really.
Yeah, no. I think it's a very hilarious lights up Sheila Gish in sunglasses.
Yeah.
Again, you were saying this. Sheila Gish is the standout of the production acting wise,
Yeah.
I would say. She's absolutely sensational. She just entirely owns every line. And she's just brilliant. And she does Ladies of Lunch very, very well. Again, it kind of has that thing of not singing a lot of the lines. I think it sort of falls some. I think Elaine sings it more, actually. And obviously Patty does. And I think her name is Barbara in 2006 production. We're gonna get, I think it's Barbara Walsh, but we'll get that up in a second when we do that.
Correct, you are correct.
Barbara Walsh, thank you. Yeah, no, absolutely sensational. Then we come to Being Alive. Absolutely, you are going to win your Olivier.
Yeah.
You leave that production with two things in your head. You've just seen Side by Side, and you've just seen him perform Being Alive. Of course, he's going to win the Olivier. And it's just, pardon me, and it's very justifiable. I think it's an excellent performance. He did it again for, I think it was some Sondheim birthday at the Olivier Awards. He came on and performed, and he's an actor's performer. This is like, he like literally, even though this was, yeah, and even though this was at the Olivier Awards, and sort of at the, sometimes like at awards shows, they don't often act, you know, when somebody comes on and sings Losing My Mind, they don't necessarily do all the, you know, whereas this, he's literally just going back to this performance, and he's doing the head in his hands and all that sort of thing, instead of just singing Being Alive as a song, because I don't think Adrian Lester I think he can sing it, but like he couldn't just perform it like
as a nice song. Oh, I'm going to show you I can sing. Being
like Patty, at the I think it's the Carnegie. Anyway, Patty sings Being Alive, and she just sings it as a powerhouse. And I mean, the emotion is still there, but she just sings it as an absolute beautiful pop song. Whereas Adrian Lester can't do that. He has to hit those notes and have the emotion. He has to sing. Perform.
John Volge.
Yeah, and I like Blowing Out the Candles as an ending. I think that's a very nice ending.
Blow out your candles,
Laura. Oh, Will.
Oh.
Very annoying. The longest distance between two places is time. Oh, things always have a way of turning out so badly. What was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say. Do you have any other notes about 1996?
I don't.
Well, there we go then. Let's move on to 2006 Company. So this is directed by John Doyle. So John Doyle's big thing is...
Hey, here he is.
Here he is. John Doyle,
the man who murdered Sweeney Todd. Should we start?
Man who murdered Sweeney Todd. He's currently murdering assassins. No, that's not fair.
I think it works in this, kind of.
It's a very specific choice that he makes every single time.
Yeah.
Well, I remember as a kid listening to the Michael Ball interview on BBC Radio 2 before we went to go see Sweeney Todd. And he said in that interview, there was a very good production on Broadway of Sweeney Todd, and everybody played their own instruments. And Stephen, and that was really good.
Quite a good Michael Ball impression.
Thank you. But I think we had to bring back to London a real production of Sweeney Todd. Yeah. And I remember that phrasing. And it was like, like a huge orchestra.
Oh, no. If you're going to do Sweeney, you need the biggest orchestra possible. You need an amazing set piece. You need it to be dark. You need it to be immersive. It needs to be a spectacle. Sweeney is a spectacle show. I
think there's a bootleg of that Sweeney production, which we could watch for the second Sweeney episode.
What, the Patty one?
Oh yeah, there is a bootleg of the Patty. Well, right, we'll sort that out later. But I think there's a lot of Sweeneys we can talk about. But anyway.
Oh yes.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Patty and her tuba.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about John Doyle. No, not enough about John Doyle. We're going to talk about it for half an hour. Yeah. But so what's the choice here? I just don't. I don't want to completely condemn all actor musicianship.
It does work. You know, it does work.
Him not playing an instrument.
Piano, him playing the piano and being alive.
So Sondheim said this in a lot of his books and interviews, in that was his, of course, original idea for Do I Hear a Waltz, is that Leona wouldn't sing and she would find her voice. And they did this here, and it's a wonderful choice of he can't play any instruments, blah, 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 until being alive. But like, I don't get, what is the production? What is the value? What is I don't get it. I don't understand. To me, it just gets in the way of everything. I know this is completely condemning all actor musicianship, but here it just seems in the way and awkward and makes everything so static and dull.
Yeah.
Talk about this, Will, because I don't make it just me.
It seems very rehearsed, whereas I think Company is a very organic musical.
You'd think, yeah. And again, yeah, it just feels all very static,
isn't it? It's restrictive when you're holding an instrument.
I mean, you could drive a person crazy with them playing the saxophone instead of the doing do 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 do, which is fun, you know. But also, it's like it's just like okay. I just think it hinders the vitality. It just makes everything so stale. And then, like, awkwardly, they'll just do the scenes, and they'll just put all their instruments down and just do a scene. I just don't see the point. I enjoy the funeral attire and the set for a 30th birthday. That's a very funny joke. What is that radiator column in the background? You're obviously a fan of columns and architecture.
I do.
So
it's not a radiator column. It's a.
But it looks like a radiator.
Classical Baroque.
It looks like a radiator. Will.
Doesn't.
It looks
around the bottom of it.
Yeah, it looks like a radiator. It looks like a radiator. I have thought that for 10 years. That what is this radiator doing? This circular radiator. Where should we start here? Let's talk about Raoul.
Let's do it.
Absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
Vocally, it's astounding.
Yeah.
Such a range, such a vitality, such a power, such an anger, such an emotion. There aren't enough superlatives in the world to describe how sensationally, musically, this performance is. I think, again, in the scenes, he's static and cold and weird in a couple of moments that I don't think work. But again, there are a lot of times where it does work. Bobby's an awkward man, and I enjoy those elements. But overall, yes, one has to just outright say that vocally, I don't think we've had a better performance.
Until I become Bobby.
Of course, well, sure.
I think I'd be very similar to Neil.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. Well, who would I be like? Say it. Go on. You have to say it.
I can't say it. I can't say it.
Go on, say it. Say it. Say it, Will. Say it.
You'd be just like Adrian Lester.
I think I would, in combination, be a bit of all three.
Yeah.
I would be myself. I have more than enough memories and history of being in. Also, it would be more of a performance. Now we're just talking about my life. But I have never been the sort of Bobby friend, have I? Where I'm not I'm somewhat the life of the party, aren't I? That's the sort of friend I am.
They're your words, yeah.
No, okay then. Maybe I'm not. But that's.
I think I'd say I am, and I'd say when we're both at the party, we're an unstoppable force.
What are you eating?
Canned plastics.
Oh, I'm a child. I can't remember the adverts. Idris Elba. I know that's a different advert. I've talked about. Okay, so Joanne has a glass as a triangle. That's quite fun.
Oh, yep. I've written that one down. You took one of my notes.
Sorry.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
Yeah, that's fun. I love her just as the percussion. Like when she rolls out her desk during Side by Side.
I think April with her clarinet is very funny.
Yes, she's quite funny. Yes. But everybody's doing the exact same performance. Everybody's doing this. Oh, it's so weird. Amy and April are doing the exact same performance. And maybe it's because they're both blondes who look quite similar with the hair and their literal face. But I think they're very similar performances, and I think it's quite bizarre. I enjoy Amy just loudly screaming whenever the opera woman shows up. Again, the circus quality of it all. I've put here, it just all feels lifeless. I don't know how you feel.
Oh, it does. It does. Absolutely.
It feels like everybody is fighting against. It feels like everybody's fighting to put more emotion into it than they can with the way it's been staged and the like. Like, let's talk about Ladies at Lunch. Again, little things. I enjoy that she says one for Mahler as an excuse to drink rather than as a joke. Oh, and one for Mahler, I'll drink to this, yeah. But that is, again, we're talking about the final 20 minutes of the show is flawless. Ladies at Lunch, she sings exceptionally very well. Don't know about the performance isn't as good as other Joannes we've seen, but I love this idea of the piano getting more violent and more acerbic and then just pulling away and she just keeps going. That's a good idea. But I personally just have never seen why this is a huge critically acclaimed production, other than, of course,
Raoul's performance.
Other than Raoul, yeah. Yeah, that's about it, really. I don't know. I don't know what else to say
about this production.
I enjoy his anger. Mock me with praise. I think that's an interesting choice. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It just all feels so very lifeless. It's just an incredible document with Raoul as being alive. And if we put being alive into our top 5 canon, which we obviously are going to do,
it would be this version.
I think it would be this version. Yes, I think it would be this version, which we'll get to. Okay, then, Will, let's talk about what we're really here to talk about today. Company 2018 and Company. So, what's your experience? What do you know?
It was very, very big when it came out. A lot of my musical theatre friends travelled down to London to watch it. The hype was huge.
Yes, I booked it straight away because I wanted to see Company and I wanted to see Patty. I wanted to see Patty live, so I ended up watching it twice. So Sondheim, theatre is malleable. It's always alive. I wasn't sure the idea was going to be good, but I worship Marianne Elliott. So let's talk about Marianne Elliott, the Wunderkind. I dare say she's our current Sam Mendes.
Ooh.
She is sort of taking these revivals and revitalizing them. Sure, she's doing the exact same thing every time, just putting bright fluorescent lights on everything. Her and Bunny Christie. But
I adore the set in this production. I think it's very, very well designed.
It is. But it's the exact same thing she does about Angels in America, and it's the exact same thing she did. She's doing currently with Cock, and it's the exact same thing. It's just these bright fluorescents. Again, it looks beautiful. I don't know. I just think of an obviously curious case of the incident in the dog in the nighttime at the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, the 100-year-old man who disappeared in the nighttime. Have you ever seen Curious Incident?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
I read it. I was a big fan of the book when I first read it.
Oh, right, yeah. Again, just one of those astounding. I think she had a hand in Warhorse as well. Let me get this up, because that's what Patty cites, is that she's watching she's doing War Paint the musical, and she swears off musicals, because like I remember her saying this. She was like, I love where are my men in black, you know, who come on in the blackouts and move everything for me. I'm too old. I don't like moving set, which I think is very funny. She directed And As You Like It. Yeah, she directed some plays. She directed, yes, Warhorse and Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. She also directed, Angels in America. and company. And she also directed Death of a Salesman, and she's obviously currently. Oh, that's what. Yeah, she directed two of the Talking Heads when they did for the BBC.
Oh yeah.
Both of hers were very good. She did the Tamsin Greig one and the Harriet Walter one, and they were both excellent. Well, all of those were excellent, actually. Yeah. There wasn't a single anti-standout.
Imelda Staunton.
Oh, Imelda. Oh, we'll be talking about Imelda soon, don't worry. Oh,
we will.
Oh, God, I love Imelda. Yes, I lied, because I loved you. I'd be twice the wife she was. Anyway. What did you think of the music? What do you think of all the changes? Just in general, and then we'll get specific. What did you think of this as a recording currently?
I thought it was very, very good. It feels very clean, very modern.
Yes.
I think they finally managed to modernize it.
Yes. Here's my big problem. I think Rosalie Craig is terrible. She was absolutely dry as a bone, no emotion. All three songs she just like sung fine. It was absolutely so. The whole time I was just like, what the fuck? How is this? How has she got the leading role in this? It's and because then people were like, oh, your problem is that it's a woman. I was like, no. The minute they cast somebody else in this production, I'm gonna be. I have no problems with any of the changes really. I don't really. Oh no, I do. I have a huge major problem. But anyway, we'll get to that in a moment.
She has, for me, she has a wonderful voice, singing voice, but it wasn't
too pristine.
It was very, very musical theatre. As in,
no emotion at all. Absolute no emotion at all. It's just like those good and crazy people, my friends. Those good and crazy people, my married friends. And everything is over enunciated.
As I said, the way that they teach kids to do musical theatre nowadays.
I don't want to just rail on her for this half an hour, but really it was absolutely terrible. And we went with 20 people and everybody agreed. Like I was amazed that she was getting acclaim. I was amazed. And then I started reading reviews. I was like, oh no, she's not getting acclaim, is she? Everything else is getting acclaim.
Really?
Patty was sensational, of course. And the production was brilliant. And all the changes worked. And it was an exciting, fresh show. However, I see footage of Katrina Link, who's doing it on Broadway, and I'm like, yes, this finally works completely for me. And it wasn't the problem that it was women, not women, the changes. The changes were fine. They worked for me. I thought it was grand. I do have issues with the show. I do have issues. Well, I do have issues, but anyway.
What do you think of You Could Drive a Person Crazy?
Okay, so let's go through this. Let's go through this a bit more succinctly. So Sondheim really wants Elliot to do Assassins, but from the sounds of it, he really wants it to just do anything. Again, marrying Elliot was the thing bringing everybody together, because Sondheim was very surprised when Patty signed on, actually. He was like, yeah, I didn't think you were going to do it. Here's a review of the new script. It also subverts problematic sexist tropes, like making the ditzy air hostess male. So how is that changing anything? I don't understand. What's the... Anyway, and we can have this conversation over and over again. But it's just like, why does changing him to a ditzy idiot man, hunk, why is that any different from a ditzy beautiful woman? Why is that any step forward? Oh, great! We're sexualizing men instead.
Sexy men.
I mean, readdressing the balance isn't solving the show's sexism problem. But anyway, that's another matter. Yes, let's just talk about major changes, because I saw Mel Giedrick.
Mel, oh, we love Mel.
She played Karate Woman.
Yes.
And she was great. She was very funny.
Great casting that. Yeah.
Yeah, she was very good. All the scenes. I mean, let's talk about the things that got changed. So let's talk with You Could Drive a Person Crazy. This doo-wop You Could Drive a Person Crazy, I think it's fun. I think it's delightful. I think it sounds very good.
Yeah. Barbershop quality is very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. And then another 100 people. He's like this sort of like snobby, oh yeah, you've never seen New York if you don't have black friends. Oh yeah, rock and roll. and he's doing that sort of thing, and it's funny, and it played like gangbusters in a theatre.
Yeah.
Everyone was lapping it up. They loved it, and it was very, very funny. Bobby, darling, Bobby. It's just very funny, just like easy, low-hanging fruit. Very, very funny. Getting Married Today is gay.
Yes.
Jamie is gay. Amy's Jamie. Again, hilarious. Jonathan Bailey was absolutely sensational. Very, very, very funny. They do this wonderful sort of stage trickery with Getting Married Today, where the opera singer, the choir woman, they managed to like hide her in the fridge and do loads of other great stage tricks. It's really, really funny. And Getting Married Today is just very, very good. There was originally a considered production of all gay. It was originally going to be all gay men, not this production, but there was a production previously that was going to be all gay men that again Sondheim shut down. There was a little bit, so basically, right, I know every goddamn definitely not critical opinion. So I watched this with my 21st year. It was the first month.
I'm just going to clarify. I've got 20 friends.
Very good. No, we saw this with a group of 20 theatre London students, and it was, and the conversations after were, I don't want to say insufferable, but they ranged from the interesting to the absolute inane, and just everybody had to have an opinion. Every single person. And then like one guy was like, Bobby should have been bi. And then somebody said Bobby should have been trans. And I was like, that's not going to work unless you change the script entirely. Or just cast a trans woman or trans man in that role. That and not change anything. That's absolutely fine. That's just casting. But if you want to tell the trans dating experience, you're going to have to completely rewrite the script. And at that point, why not just write a trans musical? Why not? And it's the same thing with Bobby being bi. It's just like, okay, but unless you're changing the whole script, or you just keep the script as it is, it just becomes that thing of, why not just write? We say it all the time with bloody Jane Bond. You're gonna get a lot further creatively creating a new female spy. It doesn't have to be Jane Bond. I know from a boring commercial point of view that it's going to get bums in seats. And actually, no, it's not, because people are sexist. And so you'll have an outrage instead of an actual outpouring of respect and support for the film. It just got to a point where the conversations were getting so, we're just devolving and devolving. I was like, you're asking for an entirely different musical. You're not talking about company anymore. And I think that was a problem. And they had not a large ensemble, but they had a bit of a company with this show beyond. Yeah, very good. We haven't really said yet how the name of the show is a pun for it being one of the best ensemble musicals of all time. You sort of have a gimmick line of that in Side by Side. Give another number to me. You know, everybody's clamoring for another song. I think with Jamie, gay Amy, Jamie, one of the best choices they made for humor and for script was not changing a single word of the Amy proposal. That was hilarious. She, like, in complete desperation, goes, why don't we just get married? And it's hilarious. And it's really, really funny. Why don't we, Robert? Really, really, really funny. You know, marry me and everybody will leave us alone. And it was hilarious. And it brought the house down, and it was a really funny choice. Like, again, another choice to keep, another funny line to keep without changing. You know, it's embarrassing, Paul. People are going to think I'm pregnant. And they kept that. And it was just really, really funny. And it's those sort of things where changing it, where changing it would have just lost a lot of great humor. So then Poor Baby was all the men talking about, and the guys going down on her. and she's like looking around, and all the ghosts of the men are coming in whilst the guy's going down, and they made the funny joke of the guy popping up. That was very funny. The biggest changes are in Ladies Who Lunch. Not with the song. Patty just sings it sensationally. Yeah. The entire scene of when are we going to make it is completely changed, and this is my biggest problem. It's no longer, you know, when are we going to make it? It's her whoring off her husband, her younger husband. And it completely removes all the power and agency from Joanne. And I think it's one of the most stupid things I've ever seen. And it really annoyed me. I was like, why are we doing this? She was like, I'll be gone tomorrow at 2 p.m. You could come see him. You could come see Larry. And I think, you know, it adds a vulnerability to the character, which perhaps we don't really see. But it also just removes all of her power and agency. It's this sort of hurricane of power and sex and drive and humor. I thought it was a terrible, terrible decision, and I don't know why it was made. How do you feel about these things? I know I'm just sort of telling you these things in the first place and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that, because it's difficult to find.
Yeah, there isn't anything. Yeah, I mean, you could have bought the script.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
It's just like, it's just a stupid choice. I don't get it. Yeah, it's just, yeah, doesn't work for me at all. And of all the things that they changed, everything else felt natural and organic, and that felt like a goddamn shoehorn. Do you have anything else to say, Will, about Company 2000, the new version of Company? Oh, here's a conversation we can have. Any other shows you want to be gender bent, other than me and Gypsy?
Other than you and Gypsy, let's have a think. I think Chicago.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I always have this thought experiment, and then I'm like, no, because most shows are written very specifically. It just wouldn't. I don't think it'd be. Chicago just wouldn't be as fun.
No.
Like two murderers killing women, and then
no.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I just don't. Most shows are written very, very specifically. And it's not that Company's not written specifically. I just think it worked. It works in this case, and there's that. And I think that we're going to get an influx. I think perhaps. I mean, well, or are we going to get an influx? Because there hasn't been many announced.
What of?
Gender bent productions. They're redoing Tell Me on a Sunday, Gay. But that's another one about the dating world, and about that's just a single lonely woman going through multiple experiences. It's like you're not going to completely switch Phantom and stuff. A lot of shows are written very specifically, as I say, and I think the vaguer a show is, then maybe you'll have more luck. But for me, Company worked in this case. Don't go rushing to change everything and all that sort of thing. That's all I can say. Will.
Hello.
Is there a version of Company you want to see? Is there a dream cast you want to see? Any bobbies on the mind? Oh, very good. Yes. I think once again we have to go to our boy Hugh.
Our boy Hugh. Yeah, Hugh would be a good one. Hugh would be a gentleman.
Gentleman, you intrigue me. What about a film? What about a Company film? We talked about last week how Marriage Story in the early stages. Sorry?
Jason Segel would be great.
Jason Segel. Oh my God. What about Jason Sudeikis?
No.
What? How old is Jason Segel now, though?
He could play Bobby.
I was just going to say, can Jason Segel sing? And then in my head, all I heard was, am I a man?
He plays, I don't know, he played Vector in Despicable Me.
Yeah.
Vector.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that really. We always say this dream casting, and we just end up casting our favorite Jasons, and
yeah, we do.
So that's that. Here we go. Dum bum 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 bum. Okay, here we go. Top 5 songs. We're adding 5 from Company. We're adding 5 from Sweeney. Are we adding 5 from Into the Woods and Follies?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then everything else is a 4. But well, no, we'll see how you feel about Assassins. So, Being Alive is a lock.
Yeah.
Ladies Who Lunch is a lock.
Yeah.
Getting Married Today is a lock.
Yeah.
Here we go.
2 more.
2 more.
Yeah.
Will, what is your 4th song?
Company.
Me too. Absolutely incredible opening number. Perfect, flawless. And it'll be the original Broadway cast album. Anyway. Will,
This is where it gets interesting.
Here we go. Here we go. Will, your 5th song. Let's say it together, just in case.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. You could drive a person
side by side.
I'll give you Side by Side. That's fine.
Oh, thank you. Oh wow.
Straight away, I'll give you Side by Side. Which means that oh no, are we going to do 2 from the original cast album? That's for me to figure out later. Okay, yeah, I'll give you Side by Side like straight away. I love Side by Side. So rankings, here we go. Have you got it up?
I have now.
Being Alive, Ladies Who Lunch, Getting Married Today, Company.
I am not getting married today.
And what did we say? Oh, Side by Side.
Oh yes, by
Slash,
side.
What would we do? I'll just put what would we do? Side by side, rub-bum, ba-bum, parallel lines who meet. Anyway, stop singing, Tom. Right, okay, I think we said this last week. Being Alive, Ladies Who Lunch, and Getting Married Today are going to be our new top 3 songs, aren't they?
I put Company above Not Getting Married Today.
And then Rosa's Turn above Getting Married Today.
Yeah. No. Nah.
Okay, here we go. This is when the stuff. This is when it starts. This is when it starts. Right. Okay, let's just let's slot in Side by Side.
Okay.
I think Side by Side is somewhere around. I don't think it's as good as Tonight Quintets. I think it's somewhere around somewhere.
I've been looking at that. I think it's above Some People.
Yes, I can give you that.
Some people.
What is that?
If I was to play
Mama Rose. Is it as good as Somewhere?
No. Somewhere.
Yes, I know the song. I know the song. Okay. So we're making this decision now, aren't we?
Yeah.
1. Okay. So what?
That was a big old chunk.
It was. And I did too much of a chunk. Okay. So Rosa's Turn is going to be our new 4th place. So you want Getting Married Today there.
I
Company
do.
there.
Yeah.
And then Ladies Who Lunch at 1, Being Alive at 2. Sorted. I think that's sorted.
Do you?
I think that's done. I don't know about you. I
completely disagree.
I know you do, and I'm fine to swap them.
Oh wow, thank you.
Why
are these in green?
So that I can tick them off when I add them to the canon, Will.
Sorry.
Yes, that's absolutely fine. We can put Being Alive at number 1. What do you think
will top it?
Will be our next song to top?
What are we doing next, Sweeney?
No, next is Follies.
Follies. I don't know Follies that well.
Losing my mind, I'm still here, and Losing My Mind and I'm Still Here are definitely cracking our top 5.
I would agree with that. Then it's Assassins. Is it?
No. I think early guesses. I think our next song to be number 1, and I'm going to say this now. Maybe I'm absolutely blowing my load and revealing too much. I think our number 1 of all time, and I think it's a good choice. And I think that when it comes to legacy, when it comes to humor, when it comes to drama, when it comes to performance, and when it comes to Sondheim as a musical theatre composer and lyricist, I think A Little Priest. I would be happy with that as number 1.
I would also. I think it's
Yeah.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there, but I think I would be happy with that being at number 1.
It's not my favourite song from the show.
Neither is it mine. However, I think it feels nice at number 1. Well, that's that, isn't it? Next episode is our final company. We're looking at original cast album.
We watched Company, and now we part Company.
Not yet. We've got one more episode. But
that's also from Curtains. Everyone, tickets are, well, I mean, it'll be long gone.
The show this is the 22nd of December.
Oh, wow. Merry Christmas, Tom.
Merry Christmas. Well, what a wonderful way to end. Merry Christmas, Will.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba